In this real-life account of a $10 million bank heist in Medford, Massachusetts, guardians turn into robbers. Unlike usual heists, the offenders were police officers who used their positions to carry out an apparently flawless crime. Our story takes place in Medford, an affluent 60,000-person city in the 1980s. At its center was the Depositors Trust, the city's main bank. Citizens placed their possessions in its safety deposit boxes, which were housed in a fortress-like vault with 50-centimeter thick sturdy concrete walls and cutting-edge security measures. The beginning. The mastermind was Gerald Clemente, a police captain. However, his journey into corruption began on his first day, when he was paired with another senior corrupt officer. Gerald gradually became part of a circle of corrupt cops, understanding how easy it was to manipulate his position for personal advantage. Despite his corruption, Gerald maintained a positive public image, even obtaining a Medal of Courage for apprehending an armed gang leader. It also extended to his personal life, as a family guy with a secret mistress. Gerald's boldness grew in proportion to his rank. In 1980, he settled to carry out his most ambitious burglary yet, stealing the Depositors Trust. Tommy, another corrupt officer, was his most trusted accomplice. They had previously carried out minor operations together, such as stealing and selling police promotional exam papers. The robbery. Gerald and Tommy got the help of 3 more team members: Joey Bangs, another corrupt officer, Francis O'Leary, a former gangster, and Bucky Barrett, a professional burglar with a talent for electronics. Bucky's skill was critical in removing the bank's complex alarm system, which required 2 months of complex experimentation. The squad chose Memorial Day for the steal, figuring that the holiday's celebrations and fireworks would wash out any suspicious sounds. The bank's 3-day closure gave them plenty of time to work without detection. Tommy watched outside in a police car the night of the heist, while the other 4 broke into a neighboring shop and gained access to the space above the vault. They drilled holes in the ceiling, placed dynamite, and used sandbags to muffle and direct the explosion's energy. After setting off the explosives and accessing through all of the iron bars, they entered the vault. To their horror, the safe contained only $60,000, as most cash had been transferred to the Federal Reserve due to the holiday. Undeterred, they concentrated on the safety deposit boxes and returned over the next 2 nights to finish their task. They stole about $2 million in cash and $8 million in jewelry and gold. They split the cash right away, but Joey kept the jewels to sell on the black market later. Gerald Clemente, also known as Jerry, advised the men to stay out of trouble for 6 years, as that was the statute of limitations for their crime, which should have been easy enough, as 3 of them were still cops: the investigation and the fall. When the bank employees opened the vault on Tuesday morning, May 27, 1980, they discovered that everything was gone. The FBI was immediately brought in to investigate, with Sergeant Thomas "Tommy" Doherty serving as their liaison to the local police. There was certainly nothing to be worried about, as long as they all stayed out of trouble. Because of the well-known corruption of the cops, the FBI quickly suspected Jerry, but he was steadfast in his denial and wasn't too concerned because he knew how the process worked. Plus, his mistress helped him to maintain his alibi by claiming he was with her all weekend. Even though the men all agreed to wait until the period of limitations ended, they all wanted to enjoy their share, some more than others. The men got into drugs, mainly cocaine, and Joey became a dealer while still serving as a sergeant, as every drug dealer has a side business. Francis bought a home near his buddy Joey. Tommy bought flashy clothes and nice cars, and along with Jerry, both made frequent trips to Las Vegas. Kenny and Bucky appear to be the only ones who did not go on wild spending sprees. Interestingly, Bucky made it simpler because he vanished in 1983. Tommy and Joey's wild spending sprees and cocaine consumption continued in 1984, to the point where suspicion grows in. They started to mistrust each other's faithfulness. However, when Joey can take it no longer, he takes a shotgun and points it at Tommy. The 2 fight, and Tommy disarms Joey, but Joey pulls out a pistol, and before he can fire, Tommy shoots Joey with the shotgun. Surprisingly, Joey survives, due to high levels of cocaine in his system slowing blood flow. but police have already arrived and are investigating. The cops discover valuables in Joey's car trunk that can be traced back to the Memorial Day bank heist. However, this was insufficient evidence to charge them with the crime. Anyway, the state charged Tommy with the attempted murder of Joey, and Joey is one of the witnesses. Unfortunately for the crew, Joey has had enough, and while on the stand rats out Tommy as being involved in the bank heist with him. When Jerry saw this in the paper the next morning, he did not have any choice. Yes, Tommy was already in jail, and Joey had struck a deal for immunity if he testified. But Kenny and Francis were still hiding, and Bucky had been missing for nearly 2 years. No one will believe Joey's testimony alone. But Jerry overlooked his ex-mistress as the sole person who was aware of the crime. She was brought in for questioning, and she provided the state with all of the information it required. She had no idea what Jerry was doing, but she knew he told her he would have a lot of money soon, and that one night he appeared covered with concrete dust. This, combined with Joey's testimony, was enough to capture the men. However, in the end, Jerry, Tommy, Kenny and Francis all end up in jail, while Joey is granted immunity and placed in witness protection. Finally, this was one of New England's largest bank heists, which would have most likely been successful if not for cocaine. So, what are your thoughts about today's video? Don't forget to leave them all in the comments section below.